I'm doing all right.
3 reprises.
Happiness and togetherness. Sounds like a good motto to me. I love it.
Oh, welcome back to Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined by Kev the Great Went. Kev, we got a tale of 2 sets tonight. I was prepared. I kind of even started putting warning shots out because during that first set, I was like, man, I'm going to have to be negative as shit tonight. And I don't like doing it. I'll do it, but I don't like it. So I started letting people know. I was like, this is going to be one of those shows. Kev, just take a deep breath. We'll get there, man. And then the second set, the kind of brush it back. You want to get into the freaking argument right away? You're all
No, I don't at all. I don't want. All I want to say off the top is, all I want to say off the top is you totally nailed the overall. Somebody even tweeted something similar to that to me. It was a tale of 2 sets. So I'm totally with you on that. I'm all good with that. All I wanted to say was tonight was brought to you by the number 3.
It was cool. No, the Dise.
Well, let's get into the first set. Let's do this in order.
All right.
Let's wait on that. Because this
we
first set has a lot to talk about. Very interesting first set from front to start, and some interesting choices and some things that made me turn my head and say, I didn't think that was going to be the thing, but it turned out to be the thing.
Yeah. Listen, it started off really strong. I think Punch is probably one of, if not the best openers. They were really patient with it too. It was not just Punch as a song being a good opener, but this Punch specifically, I thought was a very
50
strong
seconds
opener.
in, there was a vamp section. PHiSH just took his hands away and let Trey go for like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, they're primed. They've been sitting in the bus talking about it.
In hindsight, though, and this is something that I think we'll revisit during the set, is I'm wondering if there were technical difficulties. Thank you, Mike. You are the fucking man. We appreciate you. And all the new members, welcome. I hope you enjoy your membership.
But
I
am the Buddha. It was not that bad a show, dude. It really wasn't that bad a show.
No, it was pretty. No. It was pretty fucking horrible, but it had some highlights.
Oh my god!
But I think, listen, in the first set, I think there were issues beyond just them being off, technical issues, and I'm wondering if the vamping and Punch, which in the moment I thought was like a cool, like, hey, they're being patient with it. I'm wondering if they were having like in-ear issues that like didn't allow them to proceed with it right away.
I did not catch that. I thought the Punch was, what you wanted.
I liked it. It seemed a little bit patient. That's all.
I don't think you were. The other night, it was just me and T, and I was saying that I think some of these songs are getting a dress rehearsal, whether they show up at Mondegreen. And I feel like Punch You in the Eye passed the dress rehearsal. Now, Kill Devil Falls as a second slot song, because we were talking about Hey Stranger the other night, stepping up, being, what you're looking for in that spot. Kill Devil Falls hit that grand slam tonight, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a super interesting jam that built really nicely off the Punch. And again, at this point, I was very optimistic about this show and thought that things were headed in the right direction. Halfway to the Moon is kind of where things started to go. I'm not going to hate on this song as much as a lot of people do. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's kind of just an indifferent song to me, but it was an odd choice for this spot. And there have been many shows in, the last 5-10 years where they start going into this weird song choice path. And this was one of those moments where it's like, oh, not like fully concerned, but like starting to question where the set was going.
It seems like Trey is throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. He did Halfway to the Moon, never really caught on. PHiSH did an admirable job. Heavy Things, hey, we did a kind of new arrangement. We worked up some different vocals before the show. Let's check that out. Never really caught fire,
we kind of flip-flopped on this because I was all about the new vocals in Farmhouse, and you were all shitty on it. And then today at the set break, I was kind of not digging the reimagining of Heavy Things, and you were kind of feeling it. I don't know what the difference is. This one, it felt like he was reaching, and it was like the not good type of broccoli. You know, it was kind of the yeah, Mike, I'm with you. I'm with you. It was a little weird, and it was a little uncomfortable. And also after Halfway to the Moon, like I think part of this is like there's so much credit, right? Like you could give like leniency. You know, you're like, oh, okay. But you start stringing these things together, and that's where you start to lose me. It's like any one of these individual things we talk about is fine in a set, but when you have 5 or 6 or 10 of them in a set, you're like, oh shit.
Right, and then Life Saving Gun, which you're expecting that we've talked about to be a monster, a set closer, something in the second set. You get a good 15 minutes out of it. Love the song to death. I think it's their best lyric in years. I think it's simply fantastic. But tonight, you almost got it, but then they pulled it back. I was like, you were there. Why did you pull that back? And maybe it was the technical stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think there might be something to that because there was definitely something off. And it almost felt akin to, I hate to say this and put this out there because it's like not, but like
2.0.
You know, yeah, like when Trey was strung out and would like just fucking like, you know, miss things.
Make it up as he went along.
Right. Like and I know that he's not strung out now, so I don't know why he was just, and he did it a lot tonight, like a lot of misses.
Blue Shade, the next song, he blew the beginning of the song, and then he went right to his old standby, introduced John Fishman.
By the way, I didn't realize it was a rhythmic rinse until I saw people typing.
Percussion rinse.
Yeah. I didn't understand what they were saying. What is a percussion rinse?
In real life, a percussion rinse is a method used to clean dental tools.
Right. Or glasses. I have a percussion rinse. Like a little tank that vibrates, right? It's for cleaning glasses.
Yeah, it's a percussion wrench. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's most associated with dental tools.
Listen, I'm just saying, if you're gonna blow the intro,
the more you know,
you just stop. You don't need to try again. You move on. The fish gods are telling I'm not.
I thought, are they going to just drop it? Is he going to do another song? I was like, are they just going to be like, oh, fuck it, the moment's passed.
Because we all knew what it was, right? Like we got enough of it to know, and we're like, oh, and then he went back to it, and that was probably the biggest disappointment. Song selection, poor execution, and then fucking Mule started off great, and I was like, all right, cool, we're turning around.
Nothing.
So those of you who are tuning in, this is gonna get better.
It was like going to the Russian room, the Russian tea room, and getting one shot of vodka.
Yeah, I guess I've never been to the Russian tea room. It was
neither have I, but they do the dance, you know.
PHiSH sounded great though, right? It was just kind of course,
one note.
SE Mike Gordon is of course gonna stand for that. No, it was a great start, but it fell flat at the end. Exactly, Mike.
I tell you what, the last Mule they did was the one we saw at Dick's when they did it on the rain night that Friday night, and it was like the third song in, and they weren't planning on it, and it just showed up, and it was like 8-9 minutes long, and it was the perfect Mule for being something that they aren't doing all the time because they don't need to do this.
I love how you're reviewing a Mule from 3 years ago. That just goes to show you where this Mule was. This was not that Mule. This was it was Mule. People like this Mule. Some people.
Right. Now, when they went into Pillow Jets, I wonder if you're like me and you thought, really, another new tune? You know, and all you've thrown me is a Mule?
I didn't think, another new tune, but I said, really, this tune? Because there are newer tunes that they could have put here that would have worked better. I just didn't think that this new tune, right? Like I'm not trying to be
Right.
like against all new music. Like I think some of their new stuff works. I don't think this song worked in this spot, and I like this song in some spots. I think it was a terrible decision. I think the written part was slow
Wow.
and sluggish, and didn't bring the energy that it needed. And I think the jam doesn't work when the entire set is slow. It's
I
supposed
thought
to
it
be
was. I
that.
thought. Wow. Wow.
You
I thought
liked
that
it?
was the most interesting jam of the set. At one point, Trey was playing something completely different than the other three of them, and they almost had this dialogue with each other before they landed back into something that led to the conclusion of the song. I thought it was pretty fantastic.
Well, no, in
That was my
context-
highlight of the first set. That would be
No,
my highlight of the first set.
No, but listen. Context matters, because if I took that Pillow Jets jam, away and just put it isolated in a bucket, I could agree with you. Okay, that's interesting. Paige is doing some cool shit. They get this big expansive sound. I like that. But at the end of a set where you had Halfway to the Moon, a janky heavy things, a fucked up Shade, a slow Mule, and the slow start to Pillow Jets, the last thing we needed was a sluggish, trotting,
Disjointed jam.
We needed either a Bliss jam or honestly, I hate to say this because I'm a big Type 2 guy, but what we really need is some Type 1 just rock and jam, just fucking
rail it
melt
in,
your
get
face.
everybody on track. Right, get everybody on track.
Bring it back in with a Type 1 jam, and then in the second set, so when you go space it out.
And Runaway Jim is a Type 1. Runaway Jim is Type 1, but it never jammed.
No, it didn't. Right? That's what I was saying in the Discord. I was like, Jim saved the jam, but the problem is Jim got lost and then I think PHiSH actually was the one that ripcorded this one. He was just kind of like, fuck it, I'm done.
But A Day in the Life, so beautiful to see that made me smile. And I was like, it's so close to saving this set.
Yeah. And I don't mean this in the joke way, but my highlight of the set was the end. And not because it's like, oh, it's over, but like I actually think A Day in the Life was musically that with the punch, the beginning and the end were the highlights of this set.
Can we hope for a Life on Mars to show up at Mondegreen? I feel like, remember we asked the question a few weeks back, when you met Trey, if you met Trey, what would you ask him to do? And I would ask him to do something like Life on Mars or Dog Log. And my rationale would be, you're going to give most of these people their first time seeing it, and it's going to be so great for their stats. You want to hook everybody up for their stats, don't you?
I mean, last time it was played, or 2 times ago, was at
Madison Square Garden, probably.
No, not what was Magna before Magna Ball was Super Bowl. So it does have festival heritage.
Right. That's Clifford Ball. That's
Clifford Ball.
Out.
Yeah, Clifford Ball.
Yeah, it stands out in my mind as one of my top moments there. Seeing Paige up on the screen singing it was all that. All right, let's get back into tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, let me do some quick housekeeping. We are well on our way now to 5,000 subs. When people start saying this at the beginning of tour that we were going to hit 5K by Mondegreen, I kind of, it'd be sweet, but I didn't think it was realistic. But now we're only like 100 subs or something away.
Don't believe the hype.
If you haven't subscribed yet, now would be an excellent time to do it. It means a lot to us, and it would be really cool.
And believe the hype.
It'd be very dope to hit 5K by Mondegreen.
I tell you what, you find us at Mondegreen, we are going to have the cool stickers. We got the new edition, and we're going to have some of the retro edition stickers. Yes, you did.
Oh, good. I ordered them today.
I heard we're going purple this time.
We are. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Actually, it's the
in honor of the Ravens.
Nope, that's not it. Not at all. What else? Also, I recently released the Coventry. Thank you, Mike. You are the fucking man. Just released the Coventry fishtails.
Man, home run.
Yeah, people are digging it. So
5,000 eyes on that one, dude. 5,000 eyes on that. That is like up there in the history of Wook Plus special releases.
Thank you, Detector. We welcome, and of course, Mike, we appreciate you You are the man. All right, let's get into this.
Now, when are we ever going to see Festival 8? Wait a second. Are we going to see Festival 8 before, or is the
I
rest
hate
of
when
season
you do
1
this shit
after?
live in front of everybody without any. Yeah, man, I'm working on it. I kind of do 5 PHiSH shows a week. I'm getting ready for Mondegreen.
Dude, I think it would be much better to finish afterwards, and then we can compare and contrast.
I was ready to do it,
forward.
but I have to get T to fucking do the interview. You know what that's like.
That guy. It's always that
guy. He showed up for one PHiSH show. No, I don't know. Listen, I said, I don't know. It was a couple of weeks ago.
We wanted to do it
schedule.
every Monday at one point.
I wanted to do it, but then
Monday.
I fell off the schedule and I put that out, and people were very supportive and they're like, let it come as it comes. So I'm not committing to anything. I'm going to do it as best I can when it comes out and when they're ready. And if they take more time than, you know, one takes longer than the other, that's what it is. But everybody's been awesome about it. So it's fine. All right, let's get into the set. That's what people are.
What is up with this second set?
What? Second set's fucking wonderful.
Oh, dude, who let that get through editing, man? OKP does not work for me. Anyway, Okipa to open up.
You did it. You put it in there.
I know, because I copy and pasted something. Anyway, so Okipa to open up. I felt like it was Trey stepping out and the band stepping out and say, all right, that was a rough ride through that first set. We can do this. And I think they delivered a pretty technically proficient Okipa. I
think Mike, what is it? Low on Twitter said it the best. It was a slowkey pa. Also, right. I don't think it was in reaction to the first set at all, because the sound check was Okipa into Axilla. So this was actually like a rehearsed, intended part.
But they don't rehearse.
Show. They do rehearse.
They don't. You don't even stuff.
You've been doing the same thing for so long. You don't even remember what you're arguing with. The argument was that they don't write out the entire
I do know what my argument is. So Axilla, you know what? Now that Axilla 2 is down to 5 minutes and you're getting maybe 90 seconds of the cool jam at the end, let's bring back Axilla 1 already.
Yeah, I'm fine with either or. Although I think, all right, so I think Axilla and Okipa were both kind of meh. Were sloppy, had some mistakes. And this is where my critiques are going to slow down, because I know we've been pretty negative this entire show. It's been pretty shitty. Don't get me wrong.
We haven't been negative. I have shown the love where the love belonged.
I have not. There's been no love thus far. It's all sucked.
Oh, I had some love for some Village Jets. You know what they did? They came out next and they did a complete Down with Disease. They started the song, they did a jam, and they closed it. And it was Down with Disease was done for the night. There was no more Down with Disease to be had for the evening.
Or so they thought. And I listen, it was a very standard serviceable disease. I don't think the disease alone the first time through would have been anything to recall or talk about personally.
No, you're going to write home.
No, exactly. I think it was like, okay, that was it was better than a lot of the rest of the show, but it was just kind of a disease, right? I think the sense, and everybody's going to talk about the returning to disease, but this Sense and Subtle Sounds, this is something I think spectacular. This was by far the best jam.
Set 1. Right, redeemed set 1 completely.
I agree. I think this jam alone is what makes this show not a complete, disaster.
I think the whole
jam
sequence
was one of the better jams in a long time.
I think the whole sequence, we'll get into the sense, but through the Down with Disease reprise into the What's the Use, I think this whole sequence was a great 35, 36 minutes, whatever it was. I can't do math, 32 minutes.
The rest of the show was, I think, if you're going to say that, I think even the Golden Age and all the way through, but
we'll get through that. But let's talk about this sense. 2.0 songs, as we know, do not get as much love as other songs. We may see one a show or two a show, and maybe one or two a tour they'll pop up. Oftentimes only once. And I feel like since they like went right back into the 2.0 space, but without the 2.0 baggage.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to separate that from the song itself because it was written in that spirit.
Right. And that was
So
big. It was huge for those shows.
I think I love that this has become a much heavier rotation song as of late. I mean, the gap since the last one was only 8 shows, and this was a song that for years was the 20, 25, 30 song gaps. Not like completely out, but pretty low rotation. Once a tour, twice a tour. Now it's starting to get into heavy rotation, which I think is helping it. And yes, somebody asked, it did go type 2 and did get out there. And I think it's because they are playing it more often and they're able to explore it a little bit more. I know what you're saying about the type 2 sound, but without the like opiate, doing the same thing and not going anywhere. I thought this one went a lot of places.
That's what I'm saying. Without the baggage,
right?
It's without the baggage. And I think they totally organically found their way into the Down with Disease reprise. The first of 3.
I think that's misleading when you guys are saying reprise. And I know what you're saying. Technically, the definition is like to return to a song, right? Or to repeat a musical passage.
They finished it, right? It was done.
Yeah, but finishing it or not finishing it has nothing to do with it. Within the context of the PHiSH world, reprise is more than just repeating a passage. It is a reimagination, right? You look, because the 2 biggest examples we have are Tweezer, obviously, and then Chalk Dust reprise. And both of those are reimagination, a return to a song that they previously played in the traditional sense of a reprise, but also a reimagination. This is just the coda, right?
But what about beyond that, the 500 years of Western music that says it's a reprise?
Yeah, but we're talking about within the PHiSH world.
It was a reprise, dude. Just surrender.
It was a coda. It was a coda. A coda is the concluding section of a music that they use. Yes, I understand that it is the traditional definition of reprise, but within the PHiSH world, it is a reimagining of the song. If you told somebody who didn't watch the show, I know, listen, I'm on a tangent, but just listen to me for a second. If you told somebody who didn't watch the show that they did a Disease reprise, I guarantee you in their head, they are picturing a reimagination of Disease, either faster or bigger, that is similar to it, but revisit and ends. Because that's what PHiSH does when they say reprise. They don't just close it again. That's more like Tweezer Fest. You could say they did a Disease Fest, right? Keep going back, but even that's not it because they actually
because Tweezer Fest, they're playing the middle of the song. They keep going back to it.
It's not a fest. You're right. I think it's coda. Coda means tail, right? It's the tail end. It's the ending of a song. I think coda. Nobody's gonna say coda. I don't know why I'm trying to make that happen. Fuck it. We'll call it reprise. We'll call it reprise. I don't give a shit.
I tell you what. I wonder why they don't have more instrumentals. And What's the Use, for me, is one of the most beautiful pieces of music that they have in their catalog. And right here, as after the fun of going back into Down with Disease, because at that point you were like, oh, great, they went back into it. That was fun. They landed you into this nice, beautiful space that they always get with that. Never get a bad What's the Use. Coda. Oh,
I agree.
There we go.
And listen, Kev, this is a great example, full circle now. See, if you stayed with us for this entire recap, this is what I was talking about with Pillow Jets. There is a time and a place for a big, expansive, emotional jam. And it's after that sense jam with the fun and the laughter and the excitement of the Disease reprise / coda. Then you could do something big and emotional like that. I feel like they were trying to do that big, expansive jam in the first set after a bunch of clunky shit, and that's why it didn't work.
I love this, though. And then Golden Age is, Golden Age right here could have been something extra special, but it was 7 minutes. It was like they were just running through it with as many lyrics as there are in Golden Age. 7 minutes means you get maybe 90 seconds of a jam out of it.
Yeah. I think at this point, I was just relieved. If I had to pick a word, that
I
they
was
had locked
relieved.
that they had locked in, that they were sounding more, because the problem with this show, so like pretty much the whole show, is that it was so uncharacteristic of the rest of the tour. They've been playing so cleanly, and we kept saying all these shows how rehearsed they sound, how
What
few
happened driving
mistakes
through
there were.
Chicago?
Yes, something
Did you get
happened.
some?
So at this point,
You
I
got
was
bad
relieved.
Chicago dogs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. Maybe it's all the cornfields just fucked with their head a little bit. They had to get like settled in, but it
Can
was
somebody
serviceable.
tell me why you put a tomato on a hot dog? Somebody explain that to me sometime. Find me at Mondegreen. Explain to me why you put a tomato on a hot dog.
Have you ever had one?
No, I don't like tomatoes, man. They're the devil's fruit.
Oh. Well, I tell this to my 5-year-old. You can't criticize it until you try it.
I have eaten
Goddamn.
them. My granddad used to make me eat tomato mayonnaise on white bread. He was like, it's a summer sandwich. I was like, it's nasty. Anyway,
That sounds
this
disgusting.
one hasn't showed up since fall of 23. So it's been a little while since we got I always wanted it this way. And it always sounds to me like we said the other night about the other Vita Blues song that they do, that it sounds like a Vita Blues song, not Page doing a Vita Blues song with PHiSH as opposed to a PHiSH song that was originally released by Vita Blue. To me, at least.
You say that. Don't say we say that. I don't say that. Yeah, you say that. I think it rocks. I think it works really well. I think Page was possessed on this and was geeking out, which I love to see, because we see Trey geek out all the time, but it's nice to see Page geek out, and he had a good night. So I think this worked really well. I think it was cool to see it as a climaxing big end too, but
into the Down with Disease reprise at this point, it had become a joke. They were loving it.
So okay, I forgot to say that, but I think ironically the first reprise, or coda, whatever we're calling it, was a mistake. I think that Sense Jam and it wasn't even a long Sense Jam.
Trey didn't know what he was playing, and they were like, did we finish Down with Disease?
Right. I think Trey legit forgot he was in Sense and was bringing it back to Disease. And then he was like, oh, okay. And then like true musicians, like jazz musicians know to do, when you make a mistake, if you don't want it to sound like a mistake,
you do it again.
You do it again. And so he's like, we're doing it again. And then after the third one, he did for the encore, they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. Wait, why are they talking about Catapult? Because I heard Catapult 2 with that bleepy bloopy, and he was talking about being hooked up to a machine. Was that it? Was that actually happening, or did I just hear that? Because I thought that too.
I did not hear that. I did not catch that.
No. In the there was okay, cool. That's during I Always Wanted It This Way. I didn't know the lyrics, so I Always Wanted It This Way. So I didn't know if that was a reference to Catapult or a coincidence. But I actually tweeted that. I was like, damn, we need a Catapult soon. And they did that same bleepy bloopy crazy jam that they did at Dick's a couple years ago when they did Catapult. You know, the one that completely melted our heads. I thought this jam was fantastic. Vita Blue or not, it was a great way to end a set.
I have no problem with the song. I'm just saying, when I hear it, I'm like, that's a Vita Blue song. Not like Sand when I'm like, that's a PHiSH song, even though it was a Trey song originally.
I think Tab, when Sand and First Tube, like
Tab
there's a lot of
PHiSH at this point. Tab is PHiSH at this
I know it's weird though, because like to your point, like there's more songs that I think Tab than they're like. I don't think Vita when I see this, but like there's a lot of songs I think Tab.
Right.
Yeah, I do want a Catapult return. Yem was
Trey
an awesome.
Trey got extra in the dance. You go ahead, start at the top, but he got extra in the dance when he took the guitar off.
Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
some shit I'd do.
This was the thing that I thought was in response to the show. This was the blowing off steam. This was the, hey, we had a rough start. We got through it. Let's give all these fine paying customers and fans something special. That's why I think they did Yem in the encore. And then went back into Disease in the vocal jam, which was really fucking funny. Yeah,
third reprise.
The coda. You are insufferable sometimes. Do you feel how jacked up tonight is? We got all this energy going.
It's a great
I'm
show
just glad
for
it
it,
didn't
though.
end a shitty show. You know, all's well that ends well. I think this ended well.
I have a prediction for you.
Okay.
Tomorrow on Twitter, somebody is going to get upset over Down with Disease.
Yeah, it's probably going to be.
And it's not going to be me. It is not going to be me.
It's either going to be you or because of you. You're going to tweet out something and you're going to trigger somebody, and then you're going to have to tell me about it. And I'm just going to sit back.
So tomorrow night, I think tomorrow night is really going to be huge. So find us on social media.
Encore. No, dude, Deer Creek, it's going to be huge. They're gonna make up for tonight. All right, guys, we'll see you.
We love the Deer Creek.